Brian here at Fitzpatrick's. This video, I want to show you these cars here. Generation 10 and then Generation 10 as well. However, this is Generation 10 Phase 1, this is Generation 10 Phase 2. Both these cars, as we were saying, are Generation 10 and both of them are diesel, what's called a Smart Plus model. So in this video, what I want to do is show you around the Generation 10 in terms of Phase 1 and Phase 2. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with the differences between Phase 1 and Phase 2, and then we'll concentrate on the rest of the video on Phase 2, which is the model that's now available. Most manufacturers, normally what they do is they'll have a car for about 5 or 6 years of a product life cycle. This one here came out in 2017 and it's run for about 3 years on Phase 1, and now they've gone into a Phase 2 along here. But to be fair, one thing I always noticed was when this car came out, I really loved the look of it so much. I was kind of going, what are they going to do to it to make it better? Because it already looks pretty damn cool. And to be fair, I think I was right, because when you look at the Phase 2 model, it's really pretty much the same as the Phase 1 with some very small differences. Which comes to the point of basically, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, because that is already a damn good car. Anyway, let's have a look at the differences between Phase 1 and Phase 2. So the first thing on the front of the car is going to be those headlights. On a Phase 1, we do have halogen headlights with halogen fog lights, but on Phase 2 over here then, we have LED headlights and LED fog lights as well. LEDs are really bright and precise, and they're a modern way of lighting the front of a car. They're really efficient, and they don't wear out as quickly as normal halogen bulbs. And in my opinion, I always love LEDs. I think they're a nice upmarket looking headlight on a car. The second difference between them then was those big grills, which were always a bone of contention on the first one. Some people love them, some people hate them. I always thought they were cool. I like the shape around it. So as you can see down through along here, the grille on this Phase 1 along here has some piano black down along through here with this plastic section in through the center. However, on the Phase 2 model, it's got piano black again on the outside, but it's a solid plastic rather than grooved like what you see on the Phase 1. So that is the next difference. And the other thing as well, you'll see there's also a contoured area which is color coded the same as the car on the Phase 2 model, which isn't on the Phase 1. Looking down the side of the car then, in terms of the actual side profile on both cars, they are absolutely literally identical down the side. The only thing that does vary on both of these cars is the shape of the alloy wheel. So as you can see, there's a dark polished diamond cut wheel on the Phase 1, so it's shiny and reflective, and it's got 5 big double spokes, whereas the wheel on the Phase 2 is a darker kind of graphite, still kind of shiny and reflective, but it's more metallic instead of the diamond cut that's on the Phase 1. And one thing that's going to be handy on these are going to be easier to repair, I think, going forward, because it's a metallic finish, so you don't need a special machine to actually repair them. Whereas you do in the diamond cut, but you know what? Just stay away from those curbs and then you won't have the problem. Moving on to the rear of the car then, again, the recipe is very similar. The only thing that really strikes me as different is in around those grills on the rear. So as you can see, the rear diffuser along the center of the car is the exact same on both models, but if you look at the grill in through here, it was solid without any kind of perforation, whereas this one here has kind of perforated areas which are a little bit deeper, and this also has that same piece of color coding that we saw on the front as well. So again, as you can see, a small styling tweak on what was already a damn nice car anyway. On the inside of the car, and I will go through this in much more detail as we get on to the Phase 2 car full time. If you look along through here, this is the Honda Connect system. So the first thing that sticks out, look at the controls along through here compared to the one I'm going to show you next. Touchscreen with swipe for volume for the radio. Phase 2 car, on the other hand then, does have a similar kind of setup in terms of the software. It's pretty much identical, but it has a volume knob. Sounds like a small thing, but it is so much easier to use than swipe. So it is a bit old school, but you know what? It does the job. And the other thing then is you have these hard buttons down along through here rather than touching the actual screen itself. So again, a little bit more tactile and probably easier to find. So for anyone that's interested in these cars or the difference between Phase 1 and Phase 2, hopefully this part of the video has been useful. We're now going to concentrate on Phase 2 over here, and we're going to look around this car, which is a 1.6 diesel Smart Plus. And this is a really smashing looking car. This is Obsidian Blue, which is actually a new colour, which we hadn't had in the Phase 1 available, and it looks really nice, I think. The headlights, as we talked about already, and I'll talk a bit more about them in a while, I think they're damn cool as well. And in terms of the presence on the road, I always tout the Civic. It just stands out to me. It's really cool. It's a little bit different than all the other cars that are on the road. Actually, one thing I forgot to say, Brian is my name. If there's any information you want on these cars, 086 843 1945, or if you're watching on YouTube and you think the video is useful, please do like and subscribe, because it lets me know it's useful. And if I've missed any information you want to do, let me know in the comment section below. So for the rest of the video, we're going to do, we're going to look at features on the outside of the car, we're going to look at features on the inside of the car, have a drive, and at the very end, I'll just go through the Honda sensing safety setup that's on these cars, which is standard as well. One thing I've always loved on the Civic Generation 10 is the headlights when they're available in LED. And they've done a pretty comprehensive job of making them LED. So if you look at that daytime running lamp, it's LED. The parking light is an LED which is a little bit finer, and then you also have a nice side runner when you turn on the parking light. The fog lights are also LED when you turn those on. The dip headlights are LED when you turn them on, and the full headlights are LED when you turn them on. And guess what the indicators are? Yep, they are LED as well, and I love the look of them. Really nice upmarket looking indicators. The car comes standard then with a nice Continental 235/45/17 tyre, which is a really good quality tyre. And the fact that they're so wide is definitely one of the reasons that these cars sit on the road so well when you're driving them on a back road. And moving on the rear of the car then, you can see there's a spoiler up high and a spoiler in the middle, and they're there to channel air off the rear of the car in the most aerodynamic way possible, because this car is actually quite a fuel efficient car. Realistic fuel efficiency is in the middle of 5 to 5.5 litres per 100 kilometres, and the engine is really fun to drive. It's a 300 Newton metre torque, 120 horsepower unit, really reliable, out since 2013, but it is a super clean diesel engine, and it uses really super lightweight parts, so it actually weighs less than the older petrol models used to. Other things worth mentioning, there is parking sensors on the front of the car. There's a camera we'll see in a little while, which is to do with the Honda Sensing suite of safety, and there's also parking sensors on the rear of the car, and it's also got privacy glass here, which looks nice and upmarket, but it's actually useful as well. I really have found this here, really dark windows like that, they look nice, but they're actually really useful for keeping the sun out of young children's eyes when you're driving during the day. Anyway, let's go for a bit of a drive across the field. Okay, I just want to get out of this. Oh my god, how did I even get in here? Anyway, one thing I love with Honda Civics is they always drive really good on a back road because they're really wide. So it makes the car feel really kind of sure-footed on a back road, and you can kind of shove on a bit speed-wise in a safe manner, obviously. But I like driving, I enjoy back roads, I enjoy twists and turns and stuff like that. And I always enjoy driving Honda Civic, as I was saying, because it feels really nice. And okay, it's comfortable, yeah, fine, fair enough. But I like this engine. It's a torquey engine for a diesel, so there's always kind of immediate accessible power, but it feels nice on a back road as well. And as with most roads in Kildare, there's always a sheep somewhere in the way. Oh my god. Which will bring me on to some of the safety features actually that we'll talk about in a minute. But like I said to you, just if you want to engage on a back road, twists and turns and compressions and bumps and stuff, lovely car. These are actually a nice car to drive. Independent rear suspension unlike the previous model as well, so you have a lot more feedback through the steering wheel as well if you like driving. And the gear stick is always lovely on a Civic as well, so it always just feels nice. I know I say these things like it's such a sales pitch, but I love these cars. That's why I say it confidently. In terms of acceleration from 0 to 120 kilometers an hour, we're about to join the motorway, so the car looks good and the car drives good as well. Anyway, let's see what the features are like on the inside of the car. Before we do anything, I have gone on holidays in Honda Civics so many times over the last couple of years since this model came in, and the first thing I do is let that back and look at the amount of accessible space I have. And before there was a wee babby, then I used to let the seats down if there's anything awkward, and look how much space two people have if you've got something awkward or if you want to throw bikes in the back. Savage car for adaptability like that. And I love the fact you don't have to take out the tray and leave it behind, and then if you do buy something that you want to hide, you got it in through there, so it is pretty damn cool. In terms of the rear of the car then, you will have a speaker, you'll have this dark brushed aluminium along through there, tweeter up through here, speaker down through there, 3 head restraints, 3 3-point safety belts, an armrest in through the centre. And one thing I'd say is we have one of these cars at home. It is one of the easiest cars I've ever used with ISOFIX. Whatever way the angle is on the seat, it just seems to slide into it really easily. And if you don't have small kids and you want adults in the back of the car in terms of size in the rear, this is the legroom I'm going to have sitting behind myself, and this is the headroom I'm going to have sitting behind myself again, and that's 6 foot, so that'll give you an idea. So comfortably you can sit in this car. Moving up front then, we're going to have things like electrics for windows and mirrors, and they are electric folding, and the key's got some neat functionality, so we can actually let the windows down using the key, or similarly I can use the key to retract the windows and also retract the wing mirrors as well. And this Smart Plus model then retains nice aluminium pedals in through there as well, and there's some safety functions in through here which we'll look at towards the end of the video in the Honda Sensing section. One thing actually I forgot to point out on these, there's a checkered kind of finish on these, whereas the other one used to have lines across the middle. It's only a small thing. That's the difference between phase 1 and phase 2, so nothing major there. Seat is height adjustable, you got lumbar support for your lower back as well, and that steering wheel then is rake reach, so it goes in and out as well as up and down. We'll see towards the end of the video also that you're going to have automatic lights and automatic wipers, and again we'll talk about how they work as we're going through the Honda sensing setup. And in through here then, this is the clock that you're going to see in front of you, so you can change information up through the center: average speed, fuel efficiency, how much fuel is left in the car. And again, I can go through more detailed information on this during other videos, but the things you want to know is how much fuel is left in the car. And up here as well, it also tells you the current speed zone that you're in as well, and then you have this nice big revolution counter, but again you can customize this area here. Controls for cruise control, adaptive cruise control, and lane keep assist are over here. We'll get to that towards the end of the video. And then over through here we got controls for Bluetooth and radio in through there. The car will have an armrest with 12 volt outlet, USB connector in through there. This armrest moves backwards and forwards. There's drinks holders which can double up into a double drinks holder in through there. You got electronic park brake, lovely 6-speed gearbox, economy function. The job of the economy function is to reduce how aggressive the cruise control is and how aggressive the air conditioner is, and also how the throttle feels midpoint. So if you floor the car, it doesn't make a difference. If you're lightly touching it, doesn't make a difference. But in around the midpoint, you have to put your foot down a little bit further to access power, all in the favor of fuel economy. And the radio up to the center then, like we talked about, has those more tactile buttons, and it is a Honda Connect, which means first of all we do get a big park camera in through there with different settings and different modes. And also then we got Garmin navigation in through here. We got our general audio information in through there, mobile phone stuff up through here, which is going to be Bluetooth, and you can stream music via Bluetooth, or you can use another USB connector which is located down through here. You've also got HDMI, which if you want to play video up through there while you're parked, you can do as well. And there's also Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as well, which basically means that when you get your lead and you have it down in the USB along through here, if you plug it into your device, this section along here becomes, instead of being smartphone, it'll become, in my case, Apple CarPlay, but if you have an Android, it'll become Android Auto. And essentially what I've done now is I've turned my screen into an Apple screen, so I can use all the apps I have, and I also have Google Maps instead, which is pretty damn cool. So this being the Smart Plus model, and if you're in England, I think this might be what they call an SR. Anyway, this is a really nice looking car. It's a really nice car to drive. It's a really high spec car in my opinion on the inside, but as you were saying through the video, it's a really safe car as well. So in terms of things like airbags, it's got all the stuff you'd expect, which is front, side, curtain airbags, and even things like, we'll say, all the doors have side impact protection bars and stuff like that. But there's an awful lot of stuff going on here, which is basically this active safety, passive safety, trying to watch what you're doing and keep you doing the right thing. This little panel on the steering wheel here plays a massive role in safety on this particular car. Let's face it, roads are really busy these days, and people are really busy too. So people are really tired. With so much traffic, there's bound to be incidents. Well, this kind of car, it's going to help you stay safe. Starting off, the headlights have high beam support and they're fully automated, and so are the wipers. When you're driving through a country area, then the headlights will be on full. Once you come into something like a lit up area, the lights dim, but once you get back into an unlit area, then they go back into full. Once you meet oncoming traffic, they'll automatically dip. So this car has come over the hill, the headlights have dipped. Once the car has passed by us, the lights go into full automatic mode and headlights come on again. This kind of stuff means that you have less to do, which means you have more ability to concentrate on what's in front of you. The wipers are also the same. Wipers then will sense the rain depending how heavy it is, so it'll work on various intermittencies just depending how much water is falling. It's also going to be equipped with a speed sign recognition. It's got a little camera up front and it's always watching the road ahead. In this case then, as we're about to leave the town, we move from a 50 into a 60 zone, which the car is recognised, and actually it's a very short 60 zone, and then we move into an 80 zone. And while that's really cool by itself, it's got a really cool function in the fact that you can link it to the speed limiter. The speed limiter has two ways of working. I've got a limit which limits my speed, so I've limited to 90. I'm flooring the car, it won't go past 90. Or I can limit to the speed zone. We know it's 100 because it says 100 over here. The car's going to accelerate up to 100. And now it's telling us that we're exceeding the speed limit. We're going to slow down to 100. I'm going to floor it again. And it keeps telling us that we're exceeding. I'll tell you now that it's going to save you a speeding fine one of the days, but there's other things on this car that are going to try and keep you on the road as well. The lane change warning, so we have the assist up here, but the warning is down here. And it just means if I drift into the white line, you can see the vibrating steering, and it's pushed us back, but it's not actually trying to keep us. What it's doing is just going to keep ping-ponging from left to right. Not as comfortable, but useful just for a warning. If I'd used my indicator, there would have been no problem. This one here, which we'll have a look at, is the lane keep assist. With lane keep assist, I'll hit this button here. I've got a symbol up through here. As you can see, we're going to go around the corner. I know I shouldn't do it, but technically, the car is going to keep us between the two lines for about 10 seconds or so. And eventually then you'll see a warning coming in here. which is telling us that we need to get our hands back on the wheel. But I am covering the wheel just to be safe. The car is still guiding us up to the centre, and now it's told us, you know, put your hands back on the wheel. So basically, it's going to stop you exceeding the speed limit, and it's also going to keep you on the road, but it's also going to keep you away from the cars that are ahead of you. First thing we do is we set the cruise control. So turn it on, set it. At the moment then there is no car actually in front of us. So the reason that the silhouette is completely empty is that there's no car in front of us. We're just set like normal cruise control. So we're going to stay at 77 kilometers per hour. Once wherever traffic comes in front of us, you'll see the symbol has lit up to say that there is now a car identified by the camera. And we can basically now choose how far do we want to stay behind the car in front, so various distances, and the car will respect that. If the car in front slows down, we slow down. If the car ahead speeds up, we speed up until we get to that maximum of 90 kilometers an hour that we've set ourselves. So as you can see, the Honda Sensing kit, which is based on that part of the steering wheel, is trying to keep you safe on the roads, which, let's face it, are extremely busy and dangerous these days. So there you have it, that is Phase 2, Honda Civic Generation 10. Hopefully the video has answered some questions as to the difference between Phase 1 and Phase 2, and hopefully if you're looking for a nice car and it's something that's a bit different on the road, then this might be the car that's going to suit you next. If you want information on the car, 086 843 1945, Brian is my name. And we are Fitzpatrick's Garage, a family run business in operation for almost 70 years, and we can do trade-ins and we do finance and pretty much all the kind of stuff that you would need to get on the road in a really nice car like this. And if you are watching on YouTube and you think the video is useful, as I've said earlier, please do like and subscribe, or if I've missed something that you want me to cover, let me know in the comment section below. Thank you for taking time to watch. Hopefully the video has been useful, and hopefully the car is of interest to you.